doing at the same time, Mansfield is top of that list, which is my constituency, in terms of jobs being displaced. I see the additional challenge. So firstly, in terms of how you deliver the infrastructure, whatever it may be, in the East Midlands, we don't have a mayor, we're very disparate, and kind of the imbalance with Birmingham is very real. But equally, the last time people in my constituency were told about national retraining and all the rest of it was when the pitch shut in the 80s, and it didn't go very well, and that led to decades of slightly emotional kind of political history that comes with it. How do you, and who has to lead actually getting people to engage with it? Because back then it was a case of these jobs are going to go and this is something we need to do. Now you've got the additional challenge of people not even really being aware that it's happening or of the need for it. And who needs to drive that? How do we get that engagement?
Can I just pick up on the point about the cuts to local government? Because I think it's important that we don't see sort of the national retraining scheme and other schemes as a kind of, as I said before, the be-all and end-all. I mean, one of the things TUC's been calling for is that sort of, decade of austerity has meant that we've and especially the cuts to local government have meant that that's had a hugely disproportionate adverse impact on local economies. And actually, part of the strategy is that actually we need to turn that around and revitalise local communities, and part of that is by revitalising them by sort of revitalising the funding of local government and many other kind of local institutions. We also believe that the local industrial strategies they are a viable approach to actually addressing and actually sort of I think also sort of tying up what are sort of local priorities and also what the retraining agenda is. And I think one of the big challenges for the national retraining scheme is actually how it's going to be contextualised to local and regional areas and that. As to sort of leadership, I do think sort of we're seeing the combined authorities, but with elected mayors, whether it's sort of Manchester, Liverpool or wherever, I think they are showing that actually having a kind of high-level strategic approach it can pay off. Next year they will be getting the adult skills budget devolved to them. Some of them are doing quite exciting things with that and are looking at how can you actually sort of how you can actually use the adult skills budget to actually ensure that sort of low-wage people get access to more training. But I think that there's a big challenge around the other parts of the country that don't have that infrastructure in place.
Just noting that, looking at the list of the top 10, I don't think any of those parts of the country have that. So, I mean, what do you make of where that engagement's got to come from, how we've got to communicate with people?
So a few thoughts, if I get an attempt at addressing both of the questions, really. I mean, gosh, this is tough stuff. That'd be my first observation. So, the combination of issues here, this is difficult. I would say, though, the importance of being clear on local identities and what you're going to be great at in the future is hugely important. It goes back to that point about clarity. That was the idea behind a local industrial strategy and a local industrial plan. So being clear what it is that you're going to be great at, then making sure that the skills that are being taught, both young people for education, the skills of the future, and then adult skills and any retraining and reskilling that is necessary to get behind those. I think that is really the starting point, the foundation for where you get better at this.